Hi, this is Mrs. Oakley, and today we're going to look at the Unit 2 review. This is the last step before you take your Unit 2 test, so make sure you get the Unit 2 review notes and you're following along and working on them. Let's begin. Okay, what is the value of the 5 in the number 456,920? Now remember, we're not asking for the place value, we're asking what the number is worth. So go ahead and think this through, pause the video, put your answer, and then come back and tell me what you got, or come back and check what I put. Okay, you should have said 50,000 because the 5 is in the 10,000s. And if I had 10,000, I have 50,000. Great job. Now, write the number 45,623 in expanded form. Go ahead and try it. Pause it, and then come back and see if you're right. Okay, for the expanded form, you should have said 40,000 because we have 4 10,000s. You should have said plus 5,000 because we have 5 1,000s. You should have said plus 600 because we have 6 in the hundreds. You should have said plus 20 because we have 2 in the tens. And we plus 3 because there are 3 ones. Great job. All right, round the number 34,509 to the nearest thousand. Okay, if I do that, remember, go ahead and let me go back. Pause this and try it, and then come back and see if you're right. I'd go ahead and do both problems and then come back and check your work. Okay, for rounding the number 34,509 to the nearest thousand, you should have underlined the 4 and looked at the 5. Remember, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 tell us to round up. We have a 5, so the 4 is going to become a 5. Numbers behind it become zeros. Numbers in front stay the same. Okay, looking at the number 56,287, we're rounding it to the hundreds, so we're underlining the 2 and going back to the 8. 8 is one of those 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 numbers that tell us to get bigger. So the 2 will become a 3. The numbers in front stay the same, and the numbers behind become zeros. Great job. All right, addition and subtraction. Go ahead and work these 2 problems out, and then come back and see if you got them right. All right, you should have lined up the commas or the place values, and you should have added. When you added 45,612 and 9,209, you said 9 plus 1 is 11, and you carried that 1 up. 1 plus 1 is 2. You said 6 plus 2 is 8. 5 plus 4 is 14. Carry the 1 plus 4 is 5. Good job. Now, looking at the subtraction problem, you should have, again, lined them up for place value. 4 minus 0 is 4. We can't take 8 away from 3, so we have to borrow to make this 8 a 7, and this 13 minus 8 is 5. We would have had 7, so we would have borrowed from the 6 to make 17 minus 9 is 8. This would have, go back, turn the 6. We borrowed 1, so it was 5 minus 3 is 2, and bring down the 5. All right, now we have the area model. Go ahead and try to work it out with the area model. If you don't understand this, this is okay. I just want you to try it. Then come back and see if you did it right. Okay, you should have put them down on top and on the side by their place value. There's 4 hundreds, there's 50 tens, and there's 4 100s, there's 5 tens, and there's 6 ones. Now on the side, you should have said 10, 1 10, and 2 ones. Now we multiply as they meet. 400 times 10 is 4,000. 50 times 10 is 500. 6 times 10 is 60. Now we're moving down to the 2. 400 times 2 is 800. 50 times 2 is 100. And 6 times 2 is 12. Now we have all these parts, so what we have to do next is add them. We say 4,000 plus 500 plus 60 plus 800 plus 100 plus 12 equals 5,472. Okay, now we're going to try the lattice methods. Now remember, we're not putting them up on the top or the side by the place value. We're just using the digits. So we're going to put 4, 5, and 6 on top. On the side, we're going to put 1 and 2. Now we're ready to multiply. So 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. Now, 4 times 1 is 4. Ignore this one. That one shouldn't have popped up. It wasn't ready. It'll come into play later. I'll show you. 4 times 2 is 8. Now it's time to add. So everything under this first line, which is just 2 inside the box, we put 2 down. 6 plus 1 plus 0 equals 7. 5 plus 1 plus 8 equals 14. Carry this one up. That's where that 1 came in. It just came into the PowerPoint too early. And then 4 plus 1 is 5. So our answer is 5,472. Great job. All right, go ahead and try the standard model by yourself and then come back and see if you got it right. Okay, you should have started in the ones place. 2 times 6 is 12, carry the 1. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 1 is 11, carry the 1. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. All right, we're moving into the tens position, okay? So we've got to start our answer in the tens. But to do so, we can't leave the ones open, so we put our place value holder there. So 1 times 6 is 6, 1 times 5 is 5, and 1 times 4 is 4. Hang on a sec.
Reality Jordan, if you're in the building, volleyball's about to leave the buses. Reality Jordan, make your way out to the volleyball buses.
Sorry about that. That's what happens when you record at school. All right, so let's now add these up. We should say 2 plus 0 is 2. 6 plus 1 is 7. 5 plus 9 is 14. Carry the 1. 1 plus 4 is 5. Good job. All right, divisibility rules. Go ahead and see which numbers you think that 45 and 32 are divisible by. Remember, put a line under them if they work. If they don't, put an X on them. All right, you should have said that 2 does not work because remember, in order for it to be divisible by 2, it has to end in 2, 4, 6, 8, or a 0. 5 is not one of the numbers. Okay, the divisibility rule for 3 is if I add the digits, will it add up to something that is divisible by 3? Well, 4 plus 5 is 9. 9 is divisible by 3. Okay. 4, the rule is if the last 2 digits make a number you can divide 4 by. Well, 45, I know 4 times 11 is 44, so 45 isn't one of its numbers. Remember, the rule for 5 is if it ends in a 5 or a 0, you can use it, so 5 works. The rule for 6 is if 2 and 3 both work, it works. Well, they don't. So let's get rid of that. 9, remember if I add the two numbers, 4 plus 5 equals 9. 9 divided by 9 is 1, so that works. And then the rule for 10 is if it ends in a 0. Doesn't end in a 0, so 10 doesn't work. Looking down here, 2 works because there's a 2 in the ends in a 2. 3, if I add these up, I get 5. 3 doesn't work. 4, if the last two numbers make a number, well, I know 4 times 8 is 32, so 4 works. Doesn't end in a 0 or 5, so 5 doesn't work. 2 worked, but 3 didn't work, so 6 doesn't work. If I add them up, I get 5. 5 is not, you can't divide 5 by 9, so 9 doesn't work. And it doesn't end in a 0, so 10 doesn't work. All right, let's go on. Okay, so dividing by 10. Okay, remember to stay in your lane, one thing at a time. So 10 goes into 6, none. Okay, can't go in a big number, can't go into a littler number. So 0 times 10, so then we're going to move into 68. We're going to look at the 2. 68 divided by 10. Well, I know 6 times 10 is 60. I'm going to subtract that. That's going to get me 8. And I'm going to bring down my 7. So now I have 87 divided by 10. Well, 8 times 10 is 80. If I subtract that, I get 7. So I have 68, remainder 7. Now, we'll talk when we start looking at decimals. We'll look at moving on without remainders, but for right now, I'm okay with remainders. Okay, exponent. We have to write this in expanded form and then evaluate. Go ahead and try this and then come back and see if you got it right. Okay, expanded form. You should have taken the big number and wrote it 3 times. So 4 times 4 times 4. Because we use the base, and the little exponent tells us how many times you use the base. Now, evaluate means to solve it. So 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 4 equals 64. Okay, the next one says write an exponential form and evaluate. Go ahead and try, and then come back and see if you got it right. You should have wrote 2 as the base because 2 is the number we're using, and you should have said 5 as the exponent because there's 5 2's. Then when you did it, you evaluated, you should have said 2 times 2 is 4 times 2, 4 times 2 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16, 16 times 2 is 32. Good job. Okay, order of operation. Go ahead and try this. Remember, our P, E, M, and D are equal. A and S are equal. All right, so in this problem, the first thing you should have done was your parentheses. You should have said 4 times 5 is 20. So then we bring down what we haven't used. So 56 minus 20 divided by 2 minus 5. The next step in this one would have been the division. So 20 divided by 2 is 10. Okay. I brought down 56 minus 10 minus 5 because I haven't used it all. Then it's left to right. Remember, addition and subtraction are equal left to right, though. We have 2 subtractions, so we're going to say 56 minus 10 is 46, minus 5 equals 41. Okay, commutative properties. Let's talk about the properties. Go ahead and try to work all 3 properties, pausing the video and coming back and seeing if you got it right. Okay, for the commutative property, you should have said 4 times 5 is the same as 5 times 4. It's just flipping the order of them, right? Okay, same with the addition. 5 plus 4 equals 4 plus 5. Associative property states that it doesn't matter what order you group the numbers, right? For multiplication or for addition. So instead of 6 times the parentheses of 3 times 7, we could have said 6 times 3 in parentheses times 7. For 6 plus 3 plus 7 in parentheses, we could have said 6 plus 3 in parentheses plus 7. Distributive property member means to share it with everything. So we are going to say 6 times 8 plus 6 times 9. Great job. Prime and composite. Okay, remember, go ahead and try these. Decide which ones are prime, which ones are composite, and then come back and see if you got it right. All right, for composite prime numbers, let's review. Prime numbers are numbers that only have 2 factors. Remember the number itself and 1. Composite numbers are the numbers that have more than 2 factors. So 35, well, I know 1 times 35 and 5 times 7, so that's a composite number. Okay, looking at 27, I know it's composite because I have 1 times 27 and 3 times 9. Now, 17 is prime because the only way I can make it is 1 times 17. It has 2 factors. Good job. Prime factorization. Go ahead and try this and then come back. All right, looking at number 36, you should have gone and pulled out, I like to start with 2, so 2 times 18. 2 is a prime number, so we won't go any further, but 18 is not. So I'm going to break 18 down more in my factor tree. 18, 2 times 9. Again, 2 is a factor, but 9 is not. Or 2 is a prime, but 9 is not. 9 can be broke down to 3 times 3. So the factors for this are 2, 2, 3, and 3. So we say 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. Okay, looking at 25. The factors for 25, well, 2 doesn't work, 3 doesn't work, 5 works, 5 times 5. Do I have to go any further? I do not have to go any further because that's the 2 prime numbers that make it up. So I would say 5 times 5. All right, greatest GCF, greatest common factor. Okay, remember, we find all the ways that we can multiply to get a number. Go ahead and work these 2 out and then come back and see if you got them right. Great job. I hope you got for 45, 1 times 45, because so 1 times 45, 3 times 15, and 5 times 9. Then you're going to do the same for 27. 1 times 27 and 3 times 9. Now, greatest common factor. 1's in common, 3's in common, and 9's a common number. But 9's the greatest, so the GCF is, well, I don't know why I put 3. It should have been 9. I made another mistake. Okay, LCM stands for least common multiple. Go ahead and work out the multiples for 6 and 5 and find the least common multiple. Then come back and see if you got it right. For 6, you should have said 6, 12, 18, 24, and 30. For 5, you should have said 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And you would have seen that 30 is the first one that they have in common. Good job. And that is the end of our lesson 2 review. Once you've got your notes done, you are free to go on in Classcraft, and your test will be on Classkick. Your answer sheets you can get from me at the back table. So if you're ready for Unit 2, go ahead and move on to the assessment. Remember, put your answers on the answer sheet and write your work on Classkick. All right, good luck, and I will see you back here for Unit 3.